What's up, guys? What's going on? What's happening? It is another daily devotional with Paul and Pauline theology. And we are on Judges chapter 21. We got to the Civil War, and now the repercussions of the Civil War. What happened, man? So if you haven't read yet, we're in Judges chapter 21, so go ahead and read that. Check it out and stop the tape right now. And if you have read it, then come on. Let's jump into it. Let's see what happens. Let's see who God is in it, how we can see man, and then apply these things to our lives. So first off, what happens? Well, the people, after they, the Israelites, after they struck down the Benjamites completely and utterly, they were sad. They said that a whole tribe has been cut off from Israel, literally. And so they're like, what are we going to do? And it says that they made a vow before God at Bethel, I think it's Bethel. And they said that they would not give their daughters into marriage. And so they're like, how are we going to be able to resupply the people of Benjamites, the Benjamite people? And so they're like, well, who didn't show up to the assembly whenever we were called to war? And it says, because we swore, but they didn't swear. So who did it? And then they find out, they were like, it's Jebush Galid, I believe that's who it is, who didn't do it. And so they went up there and they killed everybody. And they murdered everybody, all the men, the women, and the children. Well, the women who had known a man, they killed all those. But the women who hadn't known a man, they saved those, and they gave them to the Benjamites as wives. And then after that, they didn't have enough of those women from that people that they just completely slaughtered. Which, if you think about it, they just slaughtered one, and then now they want to slaughter another people. It's insane. But when they did that, they didn't have enough women for the Benjamites. And so what they did is they thought the best idea would be that the Benjamites hide in a field during a festival that happens, and the women of the different tribes come out and dance. And when they're out there dancing, they should just snatch them up, kidnap them, and take them back to their city and have them as wives. And so that's what they did. And they said, if anybody says anything about it, just be like, hey, it's better that this happens than for you to just give your daughter to them for marriage, because then you'd be breaking an oath. And so they did that. The Benjamites did it, took them back to their house, and the rest of the people went back to where they lived. And that's the end of Judges. What an ending, huh? What an ending. It is a insane book, crazy. There is some despicable things that happen, some evil things that happen, and it's all because people did what was right in their own eyes. And that's the final line you get before you leave. It says that there was no king in the land, and the people did what was right in their own eyes. So what can we get from God? I think God has grace for a people who do such evil. And so this is not just this story that we're talking about, but we're going to talk about the whole of Judges as well. As I've said and stated before, that's the main theme of Judges, is God's grace. And it's easy to see if you recognize that God is still there for those people. And then if you even know the complete story of the Israelites, that God is there for those people. He is there despite their evil, wicked, sinful ways. And if you know the story of us, the story of Christians, that God is with us even in our wicked lives. God is such a gracious God. That is the theme. That is the story of Judges. What does it say about man? Dude, man has great capacity for good. And you see that because look at the sadness that overwhelms the people of Israel as they see the Benjamites. It says that they had compassion on them, man. They had compassion and they wanted to show grace to the men, the Benjamite tribe. Even after doing the things that they had done and then not handing over these people despite having done such an evil act, they wanted to show grace. But the thing is, man cannot achieve the goodness that God desires for all of us through his own actions. It can only come from God. It can only come from him. Because what do they do when they try and do the right thing to help out these Benjamites? They didn't inquire of the Lord. They tried to do it on their own. What did they do? Well, they murdered entire people or entire city, and then they raped women, kidnapped women, in order for them to help this tribe who they're trying to show compassion to continue on. You see, man tries to do great and lofty things, but ends up creating a worse problem. That's what man does without God. How can we apply these situations to us? How can we apply these principles, these truths to us? I think we should recognize God's grace. Recognize it, man, and live according to it. Live in it, man. Dude, because I'm going to tell you right now, man, I still fail. It's just who I am because of the fact that I have a sin nature. But because I am so loved by God, because he has given his son to save me, that, man, I don't have to worry about it. Of course, because I love him and because I want to bring him glory, I try the hardest I can to live according to his will, to live up to the gospel that has saved me. But man, I recognize that I can only do this because he loves me so much and he's already forgiven me. Recognize his grace. And then also show that grace to others. I mean, that's the purpose, is because we've been given grace, therefore we should show grace. God has given grace, so let us show it to the world. That's it for Judges, guys. Man, what a stretch, huh? What a stretch. And we're going to go on to a little book called 1 John, so I'll see you guys in the next one.